Yo, there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. Yo, what up, troops? Now, this video is why should you cold approach? The benefits and the drawbacks. All right. So, with this scenario, okay, first of all, let's start from the top. Cold approach, right? Such a simple concept. It's simply cold approaching, right? But what is it exactly? Okay, let's get into it because so many guys get this wrong. It seems so simple, right? Self-explanatory, but why people get it wrong, right? Cold approach is when a guy approaches a woman, okay, without her acknowledgement or her warm acknowledgement to approach her. So in other words, it's unexpected in most cases, okay, hence the word, it's a cold approach. All right, it was or not invited, all right, to engage in a conversation with her. Okay, so either one of those, it's not it's not in sync with what she's expecting from you. So you're coming out the blue in a sense. All right, so let's move on. So now the benefits of cold approach, of course, like I said, there's drawbacks as well. So let's start with the benefits first. Why would you want a cold approach? All right, now. Here's the deal. Cold approach, guys, is the benefits are it's a skill set. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, the cold approach is a skill set. You want this in your arsenal. Okay, why? Because there are times when when you'll need. Okay, you don't get the warm invitation. You don't get the IOIs. Okay, but she doesn't see you, but you see her. Okay, something inside you go after it, right? And boom, you make the approach. Okay. Now it's all about really now with the cold approach thing, guys. Listen, consider this. It can't be your go-to. All right. That's the problem with cold approach. This is used sparingly. Okay. And this is my opinion. Cold approach should only be used in sprinkles and small bits and pieces. That's why, again, it's a skill set. Just like anything else that you do as far as talking to women, approaching and having some kind of game, okay? You can't not have it in your repertoire, okay? It's got to be in that box somewhere, that skill set, because you're going to need it at some point in time, okay? So that's why we go over it. That's why I do it. But again, sparingly, a couple of times a day or whatever the situation is, don't make it a habit of doing it. That's not what I want you to do, okay? You don't want to do that either. But we'll get to that later on. That's a drawback. Okay? That's why it's delicate, because these are twofold, With the wrong, you come with the wrong intent, all right? You want the wrong energy, it's a fuck up. Got it? Let's continue on with the good stuff though. All right? So it's a skill set. All right? Yes. Second thing about cold approach I like is it shows confidence. Now, when I give you these benefits, these skill sets is what they read to a woman. When a woman sees, they read this from you when you do a cold approach. This is what they get. This is what they register in their brain housing group. Okay, so when you do approach a woman with this cold approach technique, right? She sees this. Yes, whether she likes you or not, at least it shows confidence. Okay, you saw something you liked, you went after it. Okay, whereas insecure guys will, rather than approach, they'll gawk, all right, and let the woman go pass them by. Okay, they'd rather lose the opportunity to talk to a beautiful woman, get a piece of ass or something like that, or have a relationship or marriage or whatever. They'd rather take a chance. They'd rather lose that opportunity than to take a risk of getting rejected. Meanwhile, they'll go home and dream about the same girl, think about her, lay on that fucking bed, be like, oh man, she was beautiful. I should have talked to her, with regret, Or they'll go, they'll get the five finger shuffle, fucking five knuckle shuffle going on and shit. You know what I mean? So it's stupid. You do it over and over again. And she was the one. She was the one. The other day, she was the one. And she got away. So until the next girl comes along, that makes you feel like, hey, I should have talked to that girl. But that's what insecure guys do. Whereas a guy that approaches the cold approach technique, she at least says, she walks away, she can say, no, thank you, yes, this, that, whatever. But at least she'll say, he had a pair of balls. he had a pair of balls. Okay, your approach to a woman is a gift, guys. Okay, don't be outcome dependent with approaching. I don't care what approach it is. Do not become outcome dependent. The whole idea of approaching, my opinion, is for you to build your skills that you're, for example, the next one I would say about cold approach is anxiety. Okay, so it leads to me telling you about fear of anxiety. See, when you cold approach, it kills your fear, okay, of approaching. It's the polar opposite of fear, okay? Fear, anxiety, all that, anxiety, approach anxiety, and all that shit. This annihilates that altogether. You're the total opposite of that, all right? So you're pro approach. You're pro approach. So that's why it's a wonderful skill set when you do it right, when you apply it in small bits and pieces. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying that because it's important. Okay, so, but that anxiety that's crushed by you always approaching and coming through, it gives you, it strengthens, okay, your approach mechanism inside, okay, your nervous system, okay, go, see, do, okay, that builds up and strengthens like a muscle, okay, the more you do it, okay, for training purposes, the more you use it without expecting an outcome, okay, if you get one, fine, okay, this is for you to get better, okay, build the skill set up, that's what this is all about, okay, is going there, approaching, boom, the girl says yes, no, whatever, you walk away and say, that went well, that's when you're at the point where you're getting to understand and you're building that confidence, okay? These all twine together, guys. So the skill set, which builds the confidence, okay? Because you're prepared with the skill set. And cold approaches should only be for your own edification, to build your skills. You feel a little fear, you got a little anxiety going on, get out there. Make 5 approaches throughout the day, okay? Don't do them all in one cluster, in one little area, guys, okay? Don't do that shit. Don't do that. That's the downside, okay? Don't do that, all right? Let's move on to the good stuff. We're going to stay on the good stuff. It's hard to, but let's do it. So, again, we got anxiety, we got the confidence. We also have the, skill set. So with the skill set, boom, this all ties up into the skill set. Now, also, what that does, we're going to talk about but when you do a cold approach like this, when a man approaches a woman in an environment, by you approaching her with the cold approach technique, you're also setting the narrative, you're setting the tone, and you're setting it man to female, male-female dynamic, okay? When you talk to a woman right away, when you walk up to her and you approach her, hey, how you doing? My name is so-and-so, blah, 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 or you ask her what's her name, da-da-da-da. Right there, she's in a position, okay, of responding to you. She's responding to you. So you are in a position of power, even though it looks like you're not. Got it? But the fact of the matter is that if you're coming with the confidence, this is all about confidence, how you approach with confidence and sparingly, okay? I've had women, I approached, I was pumping gas, okay? And I do a cold approach. Now, wasn't my intention, okay? Because there's 2 types. There's intentional approach, cold approach, and situational cold approach, in my opinion, okay? But I run these 2 systems congruently. I run them together, okay? So in this case, I was using my situational cold approach, whereas I was pumping gas, this lady's pumping gas on the other side, beautiful, I didn't notice her before, I just took a glance and said, oh shit, and kind of, boom, right away, I got my gas, okay? This is a highly trafficked environment. It's a gas station. You're going to get gas, you go. You don't hang around and talk. Right? So, what I do, I'm getting gas, leave the hose there, I walk over to her, approach her, talk to her, blah, blah, blah. She gets my number, and she calls me within an hour, hour and a half. Look at my video on Do You Kiss on the First Date? I go into that a little bit about that. That was the first approach situation. That was like a cold approach situation. But they usually work when you do them in small pieces, guys, in small pieces, all right? But the cold approach, again, she gave me the number. She called me like within an hour or so, hour and 40 minutes, whatever, But that's how it works sometimes. You do it the right way. But you want to get to that point where you feel good about your approach. That's the whole key of this right here. You approach enough times and sparingly. If you're gonna approach, if you're gonna do a 5-day approach, spread it out. Okay? Don't be in the same area fucking asking, because women see that shit. Okay? That's a downside. Okay? So now, the male-female dynamic is what you establish when you do that, which is what you really want when you're doing a cold approach. Then you can turn it around and get her responding, create some rapport if you have to. Okay? It's hard to create rapport in a cold approach if you don't have time. Okay? That's one of the things where it's a little iffy. That could be a good thing, could be a drawback, or it could be a negative. Positive. But the problem is that the situation, you may go up to her, she may like to talk to you and this and that, and everything's going great. Next thing you know, she goes, oh, I gotta go. I gotta run or whatever. Exchange numbers, and then you take off. And you really didn't get a chance to build that rapport up with her. And she's gone. She may or may not call you back. Doesn't matter. But a lot of times when you're out in public like that, the flake rate is higher because women have their guards up a little more. It takes a little more time to chip away. Unless they really have a high interest in you, okay? In the 8-9 range. All right? All right. So that's the good stuff. Let's go to the negative stuff. There's a lot of them. We're not going to do a lot. But I'm going to give you the majority. I'm going to give you the major ones, the key points that you need to look at to regulate and change this bad behavior when it comes to cold approach. When you make cold approach your go-to, that's a problem. Now, this is to the observer. The people looking on, when you do this cold approach, the drawbacks come in, okay? The drawbacks come in when you're searching for an outcome. Don't do it. When you approach, because if you're going to do a numbers game, it's a numbers game, yes, if you're counting on trying to get numbers from cold approaches. If you're making it your cure-all, your go-to, and this and that, you're gonna heading for stormy waters. Be prepared, because you're gonna get more rejections in cold approaches, okay, than you will get successes. Okay, out of 10, you might get 3, 4 numbers, and out of those 4 numbers, 2 might be good numbers. Okay, other 2 were just dead lines or didn't go anywhere or fake numbers or whatever. But the 2 that worked, you might get somebody on the phone once. Out of those 2, one might answer the phone at least. Maybe answer the phone. Or you might just get the voicemail. And that's the end of it. Because if she met somebody else that day after you, or a co-worker, or went back to work, or went to lunch, or whatever, and so it doesn't lock you in anything. So if you're outcome dependent, you start finding yourself doubling up on the numbers. I got 10 today. I got to get 20 tomorrow. I'm not doing enough. I got to get. No, you don't. Again, if you're going to do the numbers game, I recommend you go do 5 approaches to 10 a day. But if you're going to do them in a central area like a park or a train station or a coffee shop, whatever, you got it. You can't. You have to do. If you're gonna do one day, you gotta change venues, man. You can't do it in the same spot. 50 feet clearance, man. 50 feet at least. I like 100 clearance, because why? When you're doing this approach, you go from this girl to that girl. Another girl walks by. Hey, boom, boom, boom. You look like you're fucking. It makes you look weak. Okay. Number one, it makes you look like you have low value. So the negative side of this, it makes you look like it's no value. You have low value because you have a scarcity mindset. You're trying to get women, to get their number. You need their number more than they need to give it to you. That's a problem. Okay, you're looking thirsty and you're looking needy. That's a downside. Okay, when you do approach, and this is when you approach too much. Okay, it all goes sour when you over approach. You're doing the cold approach too much. Okay, too much. 10 times a day, whatever. If you're not spreading this stuff out, the only way it works is if you spread yourself out within, I don't know. Depends on where you live, but I'm talking about major cities. Okay, if you live in a small town, 5 times a day, but you take the notes. Okay, you take the notes and you absorb. Did I do that right? Did this? And when it starts to feel, I didn't do this. I didn't close right. I didn't do that. She wasn't really ready. I caught her when she was busy. She was on the phone, actually. I should have waited. So iron those things out. When you start saying, you know what? This and that, but I did do that. Because each time you do it, guys, you're still going to feel successful because you did make the approach. But you want to make the approach profitable. Okay? You don't want to just keep wasting your time. You want to invest this time and get some gains and some rewards. How do you do that? By getting better at each approach. Got it? The outcome is not necessary for her. It's only about your outcome. It's not about the women at this time. It's not about getting the numbers and getting the girls and boosting your numbers up. That doesn't do anything for you at all. Because if you're making the mistake once, you're doing it now, you're doing it a fucking 1,000 times, the same fucking mistake. Got it? So and now a lot of times if you do it in the same area, it's like, you bitches don't want to fucking, no one's talking to me, man, what the fuck? Because other women see you getting rejected. You come off as being not pre-selected for sure. You're not a catch, okay? This causes you to chase women because you say, I'm not chasing. It looks like you're chasing them from far away. It looks that way. Because women have their sunglasses on and they can see all that stuff, you know? And you going from one girl, no, to the next, no. It's like you ask for money or something like that. They don't know what you're doing, you know? But it's a turn off. You devalued yourself. Like I said before, it shows low value, low interest. Women not interested in you. They're shaking their head no. You walking over, they're shaking their fucking head. That's too much. You're too outcome dependent on this cold approach technique. Okay, it'll bite you in the ass as well. Okay, like I said, you want to use this sparingly. Okay. Now, because you will need it. There's times you will need it. Okay, I have a woman in my rotation. Like I said, I have a couple from the cold approach. Cold approach. You know, situational. Got it? So it does work, but you can't rely on that. When you make that your fucking bread and butter, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble a lot because then you'll start doubting yourself. Oh, this just not working. I can't do nothing because you've created a negative approach technique and system because you keep doing the same thing over and over again without changing it. Take the time to absorb your movement and say, you know what, if I came out, okay, I was all right. Your energy's all hyper because you're worried about the numbers you're getting. It works against you. So don't do it. It's a drawback, guys. A big one. All right. So let's go over it real quick. So when you're doing the drawback to a cold approach is when you're doing them too many times. To the observer, you think you're doing a great job. I'm getting my hits in there. I'm getting my sets. I pushed I pushed 9 girls today. Yes, that's great for you. However, if women see, if one girl sees it, 9 girls are watching. Got it? So that's why you got to move around and space it out. If you're in one central area, you got to time it once every 4 minutes because then by that time the crowd changes. Unless you're sitting down in the eating area, or you're in the cafeteria area, or you're on a line somewhere in a cafe, or you're standard stationary somewhere, that's not going to work. Okay, so you got to move around. But the whole point, if you're going to do the numbers game, it's about getting yourself better. Forget about how the girls are looking and all that. But I don't want you to practice that over and over again for your own education. Because if you do it all in one spot over 20 times a day, doing the same freaking thing, how are you learning? You know, you're learning bad behavior and bad approach. Okay? It's not about the quantity. It's quality, not quantity. Okay? Quality. You get 3 good approaches. You know? You say, you know what? Shit, I should have did this, should have did that. You could do 5 or whatever, but start slow and know what you're doing. But you're going to feel good about it because you're making the approach. Your approach mechanism is kicking in. It's getting stronger. Your fear of rejection is fading. Okay? So it's all good stuff when you apply it right. But when you do this in large numbers, you have to be very careful. That's what the problem with cold approaching. People don't like cold approach, and I look needy doing it. I look this. Yes, to the person looking on, you sure do. If you overdo it. Talking to a girl once and hey, boom, so how you doing? Da 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 da, boom 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 boom. No one's gonna. Oh, I'm busy. No, thank you. Okay, have a good day. Bye. That's it. But to keep doing it over and over again, you know, getting all the no's and they go, what's wrong with that dude? He's fucking thirsty and shit. Thirsty Howell III. So you don't want to be that guy. All right. So. It makes you look try hard as well. So you look at try hard. You look needy, thirsty. When you're doing too much, you devalue yourself when you do this. Okay, you're creating a bad habit for yourself as well as far as your approach techniques because you don't know what you're doing wrong. Okay, spacing out. Make sure you're spacing out the areas. Like I said, cut it to a minimum first so you get the shit down packed. Okay, so that's the drawbacks on it. But you're gonna expect to get a lot of no's and a lot of flakes. If you're doing a numbers game, you're gonna get a lot of no's. Okay? They shouldn't affect you if you're not outcome dependent. You're only going to be, I'm saying it again, you're only going to be focused on your growth, your strength, and what you're doing right. So when you approach 10 girls and you feel good about it, that's when you know you got the skill down, okay? I did everything fucking right. She didn't do this. She didn't respond. That's her fault. I'm the gift because you're the prize, guys. You really are. Trust me, okay? Listen, they need us more than we need them. I'm telling you, they do. They do. They need to procreate. They can only have one baby a year. we could have 100 babies a year. You understand? Or 365 babies, or double that, or double that, or double that. We can do that. It's physically possible. Okay? Women know that shit. They got one baby, 9 months. I got 1,000 kids. But that's crazy, but the fact of the matter, it is possible. Very possible. Got it? So take this information with weight. It's cold approach. Can be your friend, it can be your motherfucking enemy. Don't make it an enemy by overdoing it. Okay? Get the skills down pat. It's still a skill set. You need that in your box. It keeps you prepared. Why? You never know when you're going to need it. Got it? You travel overseas, get a cold approach. Nobody fucking knows you over there. Unless you're a superstar, it's different. Okay? So, like, subscribe, comment below. My subscribers out there, I see you guys. I feel you out there. Your family, once you're on this channel, your family. If you're new, welcome in. We rolling on this thing, man. Roll this bad boy out. We rolling it out.